You're injured, you're in an accident, but you're at fault. What do you do next? Let's find out on Monday Morning Lawyer. Good morning. It is your accident and injury guy right here from my Elkton office. It's Jobeth Bowers. Today, we're going to talk about a little bit of a different topic. We're going to talk to people and give you information and guidance on what to do if you're in an accident that you've caused. We'll talk about the injury portion of it. If you were injured, we'll also talk about how to navigate what happens if the other driver sues you. What do you need to do? Do you hire an attorney? How does this work? We're going to get into it all right here and there. So, for the purposes of today's episode, we are assuming no confusion. You are the driver at fault for the accident that happened. We're going to talk first about the element of what happens if the other driver's injured and makes a claim against you. And then we'll talk about what you do to navigate your own injuries as a result of this accident. So the other driver of the other vehicle, maybe some passengers in the other vehicle, have injuries from the accident. What happens? Well, step one, they make a claim against your insurance company. When you buy insurance, you are entering into a contract for your insurance company to protect you in any situation that you or somebody authorized to drive your vehicle causes in a motor vehicle accident. We've talked about this from the perspective of understanding, if you're ever on a jury, that, hey, no matter what the presentation is in the courtroom, it's probably most likely an insurance company paying the claim. The same thing works in a scenario like this. We're just going to flip the perspective so that you understand what your insurance company's actual duty to you is. And it's the only duty that the insurance company has in one of these accident claims, and that is to protect you. And they protect you sometimes by defending the claim, sometimes by denying the claim, sometimes by paying the claim. They're going to be cheap most of the time about paying the claim because they're making a business decision for themselves at the same time that they have been charged to protect you. So they're going to balance those interests. But at the end of the day, the insurance company pays the claim. And if the case goes to trial, the insurance company pays the verdict, not you. The only way in this scenario that you could possibly be responsible is if there's a verdict that is above and beyond the limits of your liability policy. So please check those back episodes, check your insurance, make sure that you've got some sufficient coverage, and feel free to contact my office. I've given you the number plenty of times. I'm happy to do those free insurance reviews. You certainly want to do this before you get in an accident because you can't fix it afterwards, but it's there to protect you. The only way in Maryland that you're getting an excess verdict that you're going to end up having to pay for most likely comes from you somehow talking your insurance company out of resolving this claim. Otherwise, they've got a duty to protect you and pay this claim. If they are the ones that decide to play hardball and they don't protect you, they could be liable to pay the entire claim, no matter what the verdict is. That's a different topic for a different episode. But more importantly, understand that if you get sued as a result of an accident that you or somebody driving your vehicle caused, step one is communicate with your insurance company. Let them know immediately, because from the time in which you get served, there's usually a 30 or 60 day time frame in which your insurance company needs to enter counsel and respond to that lawsuit. You have a duty within your contract to cooperate with them. So please make sure you do so. Understand that they are going to assign an attorney to defend you and defend this case on their dime. Ultimately, let's be real, it's your dime. It's my time. It's every other person paying premiums on a policy. When you pay your policy premiums, how's that for a tongue twister? When you pay your policy premiums, you are prepaying for somebody to defend you if you were to get into an accident. You're also prepaying for the insurance company to pay the claim. It's how this whole thing works. So cooperate with them, because if you don't cooperate with them and you violate your end of the contract, you might be responsible for paying this claim. So don't do it. That's why you bought your insurance. I know it's a scary topic. It's often a scary topic. Hello, everybody tuning in. Thank you for tuning in. We really appreciate the support. And obviously, for many of you probably watching after the fact, thank you. Email us with any questions that you have. It's great to see you guys in here today. But cooperate with your insurance company so you don't void that contract or violate that contract. But understand that ultimately your insurance company is paying the verdict. Your insurance company is paying a settlement, whatever it might be. If an attorney needs to enter their appearance to defend the case, the insurance company is paying for them as well. So let's talk about the other side of the script, because the whole point of that part of the talk is understand that if you've paid those insurance premiums, you can sleep well at night and don't have to worry about this hanging over your head, because your insurance company will pay the claim. But what happens if you're injured in one of these accidents? We've done a lot of talk in a lot of these episodes about injuries and how to recover from the other insurance company. Those all are in scenarios in which the other driver's at fault. So when you're at fault, what rights, what coverage do you have? Well, it's a fantastic question. We do get it from time to time, not as much as the other question about, hey, what happens? Should I hire an attorney, et cetera, et cetera? No, you've already hired that attorney. You just have to put the wheels in motion. But for the injury portion of your claim, there's going to be recovery, so to speak, that comes from two places. First is your personal injury protection coverage. Don't waive this coverage. Get as much personal injury protection coverage as you can. Again, going back to that insurance review, the important thing that you would want to do if you caused an accident and suffered injuries is this. I'm going to give you the same advice that I give to my clients who are injured and somebody else is at fault. Run all of your medical through your health insurance. Use your personal injury protection coverage to reimburse you for copays, to pay for lost wages, and to pay for any medical care that's not covered by your health insurance for whatever reason. Maybe you have a deductible. Maybe you're going to see a provider that's out of network. It could be a variety of reasons. But here's the important thing to note. In previous episodes, I've talked about needing to repay the health insurance company if they pay out on something that's accident related. That obligation only applies if there's recovery or a settlement or a verdict from an at-fault party. So if you caused the accident, there's nothing that your insurance company, nobody's going to collect any money. You're not going to get a settlement from the other party. You caused the accident. But your health insurance company, since there is no settlement, has no right to get their money back. Now it's working just like if you were to fall down the steps or get the flu or some other sort of illness or disease. They pay based on the contract. There is no right to recovery from the health insurance company when there is no recovery from a third party, a liability company. So you don't even have to worry about that. That personal injury protection coverage should be used for wages, time you miss from work. It should be used to offset copays, deductibles, co-insurance, however your insurance plan may be set up. So make sure you're using that. Make sure that you don't give any medical providers the personal injury protection claim number. Don't tell them who you're insured with. You have a right in the state of Maryland to determine what insurance payment is primary. And you want that to be your health insurance because there's no payback when you're at fault for the accident. That's all I got for today. I hope you find this to be super helpful. Hopefully you haven't been in an accident. Hopefully you haven't caused an accident, but this important information, should be helpful, should at least let you sleep a little bit better knowing that if you get sued, your insurance company's going to pay the claim. Your insurance company's going to pay for your attorney to defend you. And if there's a verdict, insurance companies pay the verdicts. Just communicate with your insurance company and make sure that you're abiding by all of the terms of that contract. More often than not, plaintiffs' attorneys like me, those of us who represent the folks that are not at fault, are not going to actually enter into a representation agreement with you. We would charge hourly to do something like that, and you've already paid for it in your premiums. And understand that it may be in some of these contracts, you hiring a private attorney might loosen the requirement for them to pay a verdict. Communicate with your insurance company and understand that insurance companies pay verdicts no matter how it presents at trial. So if you guys have questions, as always, if they are accident related, we're going to cover it here. Send us an email to info@bowerslawmd.com every Monday morning, other than court holidays and things of that nature. But also, if you have topics that are not about injuries, not about accidents and otherwise, send us an email. We've got a lot of colleagues and a lot of folks out there that are really good at what they do. As you've seen in the past, we'll get them on an episode. We'll talk about the topic. And again, make sure you mention that you want us to talk about it on the podcast, because if it just looks like representation inquiry, we're going to keep it confidential. We're not going to talk about it at all. So be well out there. Be safe this week. Until next